Welcome to the Pathways of the Mind, an exploration of possibility, the gloom of light, the brightness of dark. There's something wrong with thought. Instinct flees, eyes widen, terror ensues. You have merged with understanding, you have broken reason, you have cracked awareness. You have now entered the consciousness of the R.C. Phillips Story Extravaganza! Sit back, relax, the drugs will kick in soon. Today's tale: Maximum Jack. In a remote corner of space, a warship materialized. Maximum Jack was emblazoned on the side of the destroyer in phosphorescent xenon Gothic font. Her crew referred to her as Max and associated her with the feminine gender, as was tradition, even though neither Max nor Jack were considered feminine names, even in the year 3510. The crew scrambled to make sense of where they were. Captain Irwin Anderson barked orders to his first officer. "Officer Roddenberry, get a bearing on where we are." "I'm on it, sir." Roddenberry couldn't conceal his agitation with an order that didn't need to be spoken, let alone shouted. He had already begun a series of computer commands that would reveal their whereabouts in the vast nothingness of outer space. That is, if this particular patch of outer space had already been mapped by the proprietary Universal Spatial Coordinate Database, or USCD, developed by Xenon Corporation. They had been in the heat of battle and almost overtaken a much larger but antiquated Serlingian battlecruiser just as they were to launch Nova missiles, which were manufactured under license by Xenon Corporation and would have left their opponent's unshielded cruiser a hollow, dead shell. Maximum Jack suddenly dematerialized only to rematerialize in their current predicament. "Captain," said Roddenberry, who had rough good looks that attracted women and drew the admiration and envy of other men, "the computer doesn't seem to be able to locate our coordinates." "Nonsense! The UCSD has the coordinates of all known parsecs of space," said the elder Captain Anderson, with his characteristic John Wayne-like self-confidence. "That means, Captain, that either the database is somehow unavailable to the computer, or we enter a part of space that has not been included in the database, or both," said Sparkles, the ship's only resident curmudgeonian. Curmudgeonians had evolved the ability to pass the experiences of their ancestors to each new generation. Their children were born with the memories of thousands of disputes with the phone company, myriad rejections from the opposite sex, and countless dead-end jobs. They came into their world hunched back, warty, and just as jaded and unmotivated as their parents. They knew how the universe worked, and they just didn't care. "Sparkles, get back to the hydroponic units! You're not even supposed to be in here!" yelled the captain, noticeably perturbed. The curmudgeonian took his time shuffling out of the ship's control room, but did not return to the hydroponic units. "Where's Toulet?" asked Anderson. "Somebody get Toulet, now!" The ship's computer officer was Tessa Toulet 512, but everyone either called her Tessa or Toulet, depending upon how well they knew her. She had graduated with honors from Stanford's prestigious computer hacking college. No one knew if she earned her score or had just hacked into the university's computer system and fixed her grades, but it seemed a moot point.
"Here I am, Captain,"
Toulet said as she emerged from the mass of frantic activity in the control room.
"We've lost all connectivity with Xenon's Starphi, and as you know, our warp drives won't engage until they have known coordinate references, and we need to connect to the Xenon network in order to—"
"Don't you think I know that?" said the captain.
I know,
said the pigtailed computer officer. Then she bit her bottom lip, stood pigeon-toed, and wrung her hands behind her back in that quirky, yet cute way she always did. "Do you have any hacks for the situation, Toulet?" asked the captain.
We might be able to deploy a cooling hose filled with pulverized ferrite to act as an extended Starphi antenna and—"
"Captain, I don't think that'll work," interrupted Roddenberry.
"You're just jealous because I turned you down in favor of that muscular jarhead when you asked me to the officer's ball on the Lido deck."
"Quiet!" The captain looked at both officers, trying to decide which he disliked the least, then begrudgingly said, "Get on an ASAP, Toulet." She gave Roddenberry a look that said,
"Take that,"
as she walked past him, heading to the engine room. As she left the control room, she was tackled by Sparkles, who had been waiting just outside the door. He grabbed, groped, and fondled her lovely body frantically before two guards snapped him up.
"What's wrong with you, you freak?"
she asked as she got to her feet, dusted off her miniskirt, and pulled the torn sleeve of her blouse back onto her shoulder.
"You haven't got triodes big enough for that antenna, honey,"
said Sparkles, laughing uncontrollably and knowing she had no idea what a triode was. Normally, he wouldn't have put that much effort into anything, but he figured it was time. He continued to laugh as he was escorted to the detention unit. The guards threw the still laughing Sparkles in a cell, kicked and spit on him, and then slammed the cell's door. Sparkles took from his grimy smock a crumpled piece of paper representing his bucket list, and with a grin, he mentally marked off the words, "Fondle Tessa." The guards took similar lists from their pockets and scratched off the words, "Kick and spit on Sparkles." Tessa continued to the engine room, slightly more disheveled, but still just as quirky and cute as when she started. As she arrived, she quickly organized the nameless crew members located there into following through with the antenna extension plan. They smashed ferrite coils salvaged from spare parts and any other similar material they could find and shoved them into a flexible cooling tube removed from the ship's fission drives. After a week and a half, they had filled the tube with enough conductive material to give it a try. Volunteer crew members performed a spacewalk to attach the new antenna to the ship and extend it. Back in the control room, Roddenberry and Anderson waited to see if the Star 5 bars on the ship's computer console would light up. They watched for several minutes. The bars did not light up. They tried moving the antenna and still the bars did not light up. Over the course of the next 2 months, all those on board the destroyer Maximum Jack died, and they all deserved it.